Welcome back to the Angie McPherson Show. Today's episode is something special specifically for my fellow photographers out there. Before we dive in case you missed it, I'm gearing up to teach a free live masterclass next week where I'll be spilling all the secrets on building a booming personal branding photography business. I'm actually teaching the class live 3 times, so you have multiple options to choose which time works best for you. Just visit angiemcpherson.com/masterclass to save your seat. That being said, I thought this week would be the perfect time for a short and sweet episode about why I pivoted from weddings to branding in the first place. Because if you didn't know, I actually started my photography business 11 years ago as a wedding photographer. And I had a very successful wedding photography business, shooting between 20 and 25 weddings per year. I shot mostly in Virginia and along the East Coast, but I even shot a wedding in Aruba that was super fun. And as much as I adored the world of weddings, transitioning from weddings to branding photography has truly been a game changer for my business. And for all the photographers who are tuning in who are currently in a different niche, you might be considering a similar pivot to branding, but perhaps you could be wondering, is this a lucrative business model or is it too late to start over from another niche? Well, you already know that my mission is to support, encourage, and empower photographers to build a business and a life that they love. So let me tell you, branding photography is the game changer in achieving that goal. So this will be a 2-part episode this week and next. So let's dive into the first part of why I pivoted to branding and why you should too if you're a photographer. Okay, number 1, consistent clients. So picture this, a steady stream of clients throughout the year, because unlike the seasonal nature of weddings and other niches, branding photography offers year-round opportunities to work with clients. Business owners in your market are constantly seeking compelling custom images to elevate their brand and grow their business. Back in my wedding days, I remember my season for shooting weddings was typically from April to October. It was very dependent on the weather here in Virginia. And now none of that matters. Weather does not matter. I can shoot any month of the year because business owners want photos year round, independent of weather conditions. And when you pivot to branding, you'll realize that your clients will want to work with you multiple times a year as their business grows and evolves. Okay, the second reason why I pivoted to branding and why you should too is consistent revenue. With branding photography, you can charge premium prices for your craft because branding photos are an invaluable return on investment. ROI, return on investment, they are invaluable. Because while wedding photos and portraits can go on walls and photo albums, branding photos are pivotal to a business's online presence and marketing strategies, and it translates directly into revenue. When you're photographing weddings or newborns or seniors or portraits, you know that you typically give your clients a print release so that they can print the photos. But as a brand photographer, you are giving them a commercial release, which allows them to use the photos for marketing and advertising purposes. And this is super, super valuable. So you can definitely charge higher prices. Okay, the third reason why I pivoted to branding photography and why you should too, it's probably my favorite, and it is more freedom in your life. I come from years and years of shooting weddings, and those 10-hour wedding days, I loved my brides. Let me tell you, I love my brides. But what I do not miss about weddings is that every other weekend I was shooting 10-hour wedding days, and I was missing so many special moments with my family. I found myself scheduling weddings so far in advance that I'd end up missing out on precious family moments like birthday parties, soccer games, and even family vacations. I was also shooting engagement sessions and portrait sessions weeknights at golden hour, which yes, it's beautiful. Golden hour, is when the sun sets. It's so beautiful, but it is the exact same time that my family was sitting around the dinner table each night. With brand photography, you can literally work during business hours, during the week, no nights and weekends, because entrepreneurs that are investing in branding photography, they value their nights and weekends too. They're working during the week. And most of my branding shoots are indoors. So as far as time of day, we actually do love to photograph these shoots between like 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. for the best natural light. So with branding photography, I can now drop my kids off during the week at 8 a.m. and then I might have a 10 or 11 o'clock branding shoot. I'll shoot that for a few hours and then I can still pick my kids up from school around 2:30. And if you follow me on Instagram, you probably know that we love a good farmer's market and we go to the farmer's market every Saturday morning, which is not something I could do when I was shooting weddings. So if you're a photographer thinking, oh my goodness, I wish I had more control of my schedule. I hate missing out on things. I'm tired of working these long wedding days or missing my family dinners during the weeknight. Let me tell you, branding photography is the niche where you can actually schedule your business around your life instead of your life around your business. So to recap, this short and sweet part 1 episode of why I pivoted to branding photography and why you should too. Number 1, consistent clients. Number 2, recurring revenue. And number 3, more freedom in your life. So if you're tuning in right now and you're not shooting branding, let me ask you this. Does this sound like an ideal niche for you? A place where you can continue pursuing your passion for photography with a more profitable and rewarding business model? If so, I invite you to join my free live class happening next week where I'm teaching you how to build a booming personal branding photography business and position yourself as the go-to branding photographer in your market. Just visit angiemcpherson.com/masterclass to save your seat. Okay, thanks so much for listening and stay tuned for part 2 next week where I'm sharing more reasons why I pivoted to brand photography and why you should too. And I'll see you then. Hey friend, thank you so much for tuning in to the Angie McPherson Show. I hope this episode ignited a fire within you, motivating you to take bold and inspired action. Speaking of taking action, I have a special announcement for all the photographers out there. If you're a photographer and your goal is to book more branding clients or finally pivot into the branding photography niche, I invite you to join my free live masterclass where I'm teaching my top 3 secrets to building a booming personal branding photography business. Just visit angiemcpherson.com/masterclass to save your seat. Building a solid branding photography business is a game changer that will create more income and more impact in your business. And I'm super excited to teach you how to become the go-to branding photographer in your market. So once again, just visit angiemcpherson.com/masterclass to save your seat, and I will see you live in class. For any resources and links mentioned in today's episode, make sure to check out the show notes. Keep moving forward, friend, as each step takes you closer to your goals. I'll catch you next week for another episode.